Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam. Thanks for hanging out with me again today. And today is going to be a little bit something different. There's no car here, but we are going to look at a car. So this is something that was given to me by the RCL months and months ago. And apologies to both the RCL and everybody else. I have not done, a true unboxing and up close look at this one yet. And, I didn't know enough about it, and I really still don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm going to share with you what I have been able to pick up. There's not a whole lot of information out on the internet about this, and what's out there is kind of, iffy if it's actual information or not. So what we have is the Mugen Bulldog II. Now, when this was gifted to me, it came at a really, really great time. I just got some really bad news, and next thing you know, this showed up, I think literally the same day or the next day. I don't remember, but it was definitely a huge pick-me-up. So thank you again. I can never thank the RCL enough for everything that he's done for me, for my channel, for so many other folks out there and their channels. This is just an absolutely astonishing gift, and I haven't done a review of it or unboxing of it just because I didn't feel like I'm the knowledge base to give you guys this. I'm kind of ignorant to the whole Mugen line, to the Bulldog and the Bulldog II. So as I said, I've looked online, I've reached out to a few people, I've gotten a little bit of information back and forth, but again, it's still kind of one of those buggies that showed up. It was really, really cool. A lot of racers had them, but I don't think that many, everyday RCists picked one of these up just because they were kind of expensive and they were kind of odd and unique. So it wasn't on anybody's radar that, wow, these things came out, they're awesome. And I think they just kind of disappeared shortly after. But anyway, I'm going to run down kind of what I know of it, and then I'm going to get the camera set up so we can look down on it, and we'll actually go through the box. So before we look into the box, the Bulldog II came out sometime in '86. I don't know exactly when, but this came out in '86. Now, the original Bulldog came out, I believe, early '85. So basically a year after, or, roughly a year after this came out. Basically, the Bulldog and the Bulldog II, identical underneath the body. The Bulldog came out with a tube chassis or tube cage body for it. So there really wasn't any Lexan body or any panels or anything. It was just a cage. To where this has a more traditional, buggy look to it because it has a Lexan body. So I think that, they realized that not everybody liked the cage, and from what I have read, the cage didn't really hold up that well to rollovers, so they kind of had to scrap that idea and move towards, a traditional Lexan. The cage looked cool, but I just don't think anybody really liked it. So this buggy is a four-wheel drive, four-wheel steer buggy, which is the AWDS, the all-wheel drive system. It does have a full range front steering and then a little bit of rear steering. So it's not like both tires, turn super. It's just the fronts that turn full lock to lock, and then the rears just kind of give you that little bit of turn assist. Now, I did read when most racers were running these, almost everybody locked out that rear steering. And it wasn't because it didn't work. It wasn't normal. And I think both the guys that were running it wanted a more predictable feel and to have that rear steer kick in and kind of throw everybody off. I don't think it was super well, received in the racing community. And again, I think most of these went to guys that were racing. Now, there were quite a few other four-wheel drive, four-wheel steer buggies that came out around this time or after this time. So you had the Nichimo Exceed, the Royal Ripper, which the Royal Ripper is a very, very cool buggy. It's almost a hot shot looking type buggy, but did have the four-wheel steer. Unfortunately, evidently, it was made out of the most brittle plastic ever created, and not very many of them survived. And if you look at it wrong now, they'll just break. The Kyosho Progress and the Gallop, I don't know much of anything about those, and the RCL Incident. Now, if you go over to RC Icon's channel. I know he has RCL incident content, and I'm pretty sure he has a Nichimo Exceed that he showed on his channel as well. So you can go over to his channel and check those out, as well as Jason's channel, True Vintage RC. He's got a ton of these type of cars over there. But anyway, this was a belt drive system. It had 3 differentials. So you had a center diff, a rear, and a front. And you also, the chassis was a little bit different. So it was 2 big center plates, like alloy plates, with a big plastic filler to box it out. So it was basically a twin vertical plate chassis that was, encapsulated with this plastic insert. It evidently has the anti-roll bars or sway bars on it. And one of the most unique things about this is it has the monoshock up front and in the rear. So it has dual monoshocks for the suspension, but they're actually air shocks. So they're not compressed air shocks, so you don't have to like pump them up or anything. But unlike everybody else that was using just, spring friction shocks or oil-filled spring shocks, these actually have the air chamber in them to actually do the dampening on the car. So that is kind of what really makes these Mugens really, really interesting, is both the Bulldog and the Bulldog II came with the air shock on it. So the other thing, for the driveline, it just has dog bones front and rear, so no CVAs or anything like that. So really, that's about all I know about the buggy. So what we'll do is I will get the camera set up over here and get a top-down view so we can go through it and take a look at it as I kind of unbox it. Now, I still don't have plans to build this, at least not right now. I've got way too many other things, way too many other kits to build and mess with without building such a unique and vintage kit that's still brand new in the box. I've opened it up a dozen times since I've gotten it and looked at it, and it's just really, really cool to have something, this little time capsule from 1986. There's probably quite a few people that are watching this that may not even have been born in 1986. So, to have something that still, everything is in here, it's new in box, it's kind of hard to say I want to put it together just to put it together. I'm not going to drive it. There are some, reliability issues with it. And with these old plastics and everything, I just don't feel comfortable with building it quite yet. I may sometime later on down the road. But again, I have, 5 or 6 new kits coming. I have a couple kits here I need to get to. I have 6, 7 different, restoration projects going on. So there is no rush for me to make up my mind to building this. But we will take a look at it and, see what's in the box so you guys can see it if you've never seen one before. So let me get the camera set up. All right, guys, so we have the box up on the bench. Now, sorry about the glare. The overhead lights are killing me. But up close of what the buggy would look like built, it's such a cool looking buggy. It looks low, it looks aggressive, but it also kind of looks, like a typical buggy would. You have a picture of the 3 different differentials, so your front, your rear, and then your center. You have the air shock shown on here, front and rear bulkhead shown on there, and that's about it for the box. When you get the box open, it has a wonderful presentation. So this is the big center chassis piece, and you have your plates underneath of it. So there's an aluminum plate for each side of this, and then your differential and all the belt drive system runs up in here to the front and the rear. You have your 540, looks like a Black & Bell Johnson motor, brass pinion. You have the kind of signature wheels to the Bulldog. Now these wheels are just slick. There is no ribbing on the wheels themselves. So there are no bead slots in here. You literally just glue the tire to the wheel, and the super glue is the only thing that's keeping the wheel on. So you have your center diff, which is a ball diff, and then you have your front and rear ball diffs. Now, from what I've read on these is this one, you pretty much just locked it down. Everybody just recommends just locking this one as tight as you can, and these were prone to wearing out. But, again, I may or may not ever build it, so it may not be a concern. And sorry if the glare is killing you guys. I'll try to keep it out without glare. You have your dog bones in here. Now you have your really awesome, unique tires. These are the only ones I've ever seen that have this weird, ring, like banding around it. And then you have, it's actually like a 3-step pin on there, so it gets wider as it goes down. You have the Mugen name on them, and then the size on there. See if we can get that in the light. There we go. But yeah, some really, really interesting tires. They're still fairly soft for, being 30, 40 years old. And the spikes, these are really, really, I would assume if you were running this on like an outdoor grass track, these would be absolutely wonderful tires to run. You have the clear body shell, and it's, it's hard to show on camera, but, it's in perfect shape. It still has a protective coating on there, and it has the big hump in the front for the front monoshock. The rear, it's kind of up inside the body here, so you don't need it. There's a cool little Mugen piece molded into here, so it kind of looks like the cylinder head or something of the motor, and then you basically have like a faux exhaust pipe coming out down the side, so you have like almost like side pipes coming down. This side is just, regular buggy. Then we have, the big rear wing, and of course you would cut it out to whatever profile you wanted. A wonderful sheet of decals. These look absolutely great. Now they are a little bent up down here, so I'm just going to leave them like that until we need them. I will try to put something in here to flatten them out, but you got to be kind of careful how you do it. But cool, old school Michelle, Bosch, Pentax, old school Subaru. I don't know how Subaru got on here, and it doesn't look anything like a Subaru, but Bridgestone. So under this tray with all your parts, and I'll get it up close on the air shocks. Let me turn it around so the writing's correct. So you have your air shocks here, and they look absolutely perfect. There's no rust, there's no corrosion or anything on there. You have the center diff, so your spur gear is on that already, and then you have your 2 front and rear diffs there. Again, they all look in great shape. Drive shafts, they have a little tiny hint of a little bit of rust showing, but still in super great condition. And then your side plates and the main plastic piece that separates them. And then again, black end bell. I'm assuming Johnson motor, I'm not sure. It is not a Johnson motor, but it is reminiscent of the Tamiya Johnson motors, but I can't read it. But it is not a Johnson. And then your brass pinion gear. Okay, so sorry, the battery cut out on me. So underneath of the blister pack in the box, you have this plain brown box in here. So in the plain brown box, you have the under tray for the entire car. So this is the bottom of it, and it has a really nice textured finish to it. And basically you would have screws going into the chassis, because the chassis is only going to be about that wide. And then this would add, dirt protection and, rocks and stuff from coming up and hitting the servos and everything, because the servos actually just mount to the side of the chassis for both the speed controller and the steering. So this is kind of helping protect those, as well as, fill it in so the body and the under tray kind of fill up everything to keep the dirt and rocks and everything out. So you have a big plastic bag full of parts trees. We'll get into that in a second. So you have your front bumper with the Mugen name on it. Let's see if we can get that in the light. There we go. And then you have these 2 parts which go on, I think like that, to mount. So you have body mount, front and rear. So this is your front end, like this, and then your rear end would get kind of put on, oops, something like that, and goes on the back, and then your body posts are molded into these pieces. Now, I really don't want to open the bags, so we're just going to do our best with everything in the bag. But you have your upper and lower shock arms, suspension arms. So your lowers have a little bit of a taper to them, and then the uppers have a big tall part where the shock mounts onto it. And these pieces here actually get bolted onto the side of the chassis and become your lower suspension mounts.
So you have multiple trees of those for front and rear. And then up front, in those other trees, you have your front and rear hubs, bearing carriers. So these are kind of like the Schumacher style, where it has a kind of a square block, and then all your bearings and everything get put into that, and it's kind of screwed shut. And then on the top and bottom, you'll have brass pivot balls going in here. And then you have these little molded pieces in here that clamp onto the top of the pivot balls and make the perfect little pocket in there for those. And then there's actually another little round piece that goes down onto that goes into the holes here for the front and suspension. So it allows the front and rear to pivot. So pretty much just kind of two of everything, multiples of everything in here, because the front and rear are basically the same, because you have front and rear steering. Unlike most buggies that just have the front. Sorry, I've got all that off of camera. So this is still all factory sealed. So until I go to build it, we're going to keep everything sealed up. But in here, you have some of the metal plates and stuff for the servo mounts. You have bags of hardware and stuff for, these have the drive axles and cups for the owl drives. You can see the belt in here. Now, that belt may or may not ever actually work. You have the 3-speed speed control in here, mechanical speed control, the resistors in here. I'm assuming antenna tube, servo saver. It's kind of hard to see, but servo saver's in there. And there's other stuff. You can see the sway bars, front and rear in here. What else can we dig up? Sorry, I know this isn't the best way to show this off, but again, I'm really hesitant to open up anything just because whoever had this before me, it spent 40 years, almost 35, 40 years, close to it, bagged up, so I don't feel like I should rip into them right away. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll come back out and talk to you guys real quick. But that's pretty much what's in here. There's a lot of stuff, but there's not a lot of stuff because everything is kind of repeat. The front suspension, the rear suspension is all kind of the same, and so all the hardware is basically going to be the same. So there's not a lot of difference between the front and the rear. But anyway, let me hop back out here and talk to you guys without this awkward view and me keep coming off of frame.
Well, all right, guys, so I really, really hope that you enjoyed the look at the Mugen Bulldog II. It's something very unique, very different, something I knew of, but I had never seen one in person. So actually being able to, open up the box, go through the kit, look at it, and, just breathe in that 1986 is a really, really great feeling. Again, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to build it, but we're definitely not going to build it right now. I just have too many other things going on. And, it's a great gift. And, the RCL recommended that I not build it. But it was totally up to me if I wanted to build it. He said it would be just a treasure to keep it in the box, and I'm kind of with him. It is kind of a treasure. There's a thumbprint here on this box where this has been on somebody's shelf, and it has been pulled on and off the shelf and picked up countless times over the years. So it has like a permanent grip mark in this box from it being loved for so many years and appreciated as it is. So I'm going to keep doing that for the time being. I would like to, now that we have it all, documented and recorded with all the bits and pieces, I would like to try to find somewhere where I could actually get this thing shrink wrapped, put some silica gel packs in there and get it shrink wrapped to kind of seal it up so I don't have to worry about, anything rusting or corroding or anything any further than what it already is. Just try to, preserve it as long as I can. Alright guys, so I hope everybody enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up. If you have any questions, hit me down below. I may not know the answer, but somebody down in the comments may be able to answer it for me. If you have any more information about this that you would like to share, that maybe I could put into another video, or you just would like to share with me so I know more about it, my email is in my About section, and you can send me an email, and I would be more than happy to talk back and forth with you if you know more about these than I do. Anyway guys, everybody out there, be Be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I will catch you on the next one. See you guys.